Today we are going to talk about The Horla by Guy de Maupassant. This is not just a ghost story. It is a chilling psychological tale about fear, paranoia, madness, and the terrifying feeling that something unseen is slowly taking control of your life. At the center of the story is one disturbing question. What if the real horror is not something you can see, but something you can only feel? Imagine being alone in your room. Everything looks normal. The chair is still there. The curtains move only slightly. The air feels quiet. But somehow you feel that you are not alone. You cannot clearly see anything, but you feel watched. You feel drained. You feel like something invisible is living beside you. That is the fear that begins to consume the narrator in The Horla. The story is written like a journal. The narrator records his daily thoughts, his feelings, and the strange changes happening around him. At first, he seems calm and reasonable, but little by little, his entries become more anxious. He cannot sleep well. He feels weak. He senses a presence near him. Because we read his own words, we experience the fear from inside his mind, and that makes the story even more disturbing. As the story continues, the narrator notices things he cannot explain. He feels a mysterious being near him. He believes this invisible presence is watching him, controlling him, and feeding on his energy. His fear grows stronger every day. The ordinary world begins to feel unsafe. His bedroom, his house, even his own thoughts no longer feel fully his. This is where the story becomes truly terrifying. The Horla is the mysterious, unseen force in the story. But the most frightening part is this. We are never completely sure what it really is. Is it a supernatural being? Is it a monster that humans cannot see? Or is it a sign that the narrator's mind is collapsing? That uncertainty is what makes the story powerful. The horror is not just in the creature. The horror is in not knowing whether the creature is real. As the narrator's fear grows, his thoughts become more obsessive and unstable. He begins to believe that the Horla is stronger than him. He feels invaded, haunted, and powerless. He can no longer trust his senses. He can no longer trust his home. And most terrifying of all, he can no longer fully trust his own mind. This is psychological horror at its strongest. The enemy may be outside him, or it may already be inside. The Horla is powerful because it blurs the line between supernatural horror and mental illness. The story does not give us a simple answer. Instead, it traps us inside the narrator's uncertainty. We wonder, is he seeing the truth? Or is fear destroying his mind? That is what makes the story so modern. It shows how fear can grow quietly, then slowly take over a person's entire reality. The Horla can symbolize many things. It can represent fear of the unknown. It can represent the loss of self. It can represent anxiety, obsession, or the terrifying feeling of losing control over your own mind. The invisible creature becomes a symbol of something deeply human, the fear that something is changing inside us, and we do not know how to stop it. That is why the Horla feels so haunting. It is not only outside the narrator, it also reflects what is breaking within him. We should still read the Horla today because its fear feels familiar. Many people know what it feels like to be anxious, isolated, overwhelmed, or trapped inside their own thoughts. The story captures that terrifying feeling of losing control. It also reminds us that not all horror comes from monsters, ghosts, or darkness. Sometimes the scariest place is the human mind, and sometimes the most frightening enemy is the one we cannot name. In one simple idea, The Horla is a haunting story about an unseen force that may be a monster or the narrator's own collapsing mind. It is frightening because it never fully explains itself. Instead, it leaves us with doubt. And that doubt is the real horror. Is the Horla real? Is the narrator losing his sanity? Or is the truth somewhere in between? That is why this story remains unforgettable. For more simple lessons about literature and stories, follow Lingualistica. See you in the next one.